Hashtag, despite being a woman, I am somehow able to present this next story. And we have a new explosive social media trend brought to you by yet another dude saying some stupid shit. Who's the lucky guy? And when I say dude, I mean that with all due respect, because this is actually the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who tossed out this extremely careless and backhanded compliment at Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, who is in fact a woman. And so this is what he said at Dhaka University on Sunday. I am happy to say that the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, despite being a woman, is saying boldly that she has zero tolerance toward terrorism.
So there are two factors at play here. One is he's old school, right? So when you hear that, you're like, oh, dude, don't say that. Don't say that.
That's why I had to say dude. I was like, dude.
Yeah.
Dude.
Despite being a woman, she actually cares about people not being murdered.
Like, what? I don't it's illogical to me anyways. Like, I don't understand the correlation he's drawing there, and which is why this hashtag, despite being a woman, Twitter trend was born, because other women obviously took offense at this, and men, and started tweeting appropriately responses. So I'll read a couple of those. Hashtag, despite being a woman, Marie Curie won a Nobel Prize both in physics and chemistry. Good for you, Marie. How did you do it? And this is the second tweet. So Sangi, hashtag Duffer Modi, and apparently Duffer means just like stupid dude, thinks Benazir Bhutto, Sheikh Hasina, Indira Gandhi, Margaret Thatcher, or Hillary Clinton made it, hashtag despite being a woman. So there's just a long list of incomparable, accomplished women. Somehow they figured it out.
Yeah, and so I say he's old school, but if you go old school enough, you run into Indira Gandhi, a legendary leader of India.
Yes, of India.
Your country, right?
One of the, but far before so many other first world countries had women leaders. I mean, we're still waiting here in the States, and somehow it's 2015 and the Prime Minister of India is saying this.
Yeah, and look, India deserves a lot of credit for having strong female leaders throughout history, but this guy's undoing it a little bit. I honestly don't get why he's so popular here. He came here to the U.S., and
he's insanely popular.
Yeah, Americans of South Asian descent, obviously Indians, not Pakistanis, let's just keep it real, right? Yep. Went bananas. I mean, he sold out places. They were so proud. But he has a really questionable past in Gujarat. He's one of those guys like, no, my people, not your people, right? And I don't mean that in terms of Indians. I mean Hindu, not Muslim.
Okay, drill it down.
Yeah, and he's a nationalist in ways that are uncomfortable. He grabs power in ways that are uncomfortable. He actually reminded me a little bit of Erdogan from Turkey. I don't know if it's unfair to say Putin from Russia. And so, look, I don't know
he has like a twinge of despot. Like a twinge.
I don't know about despot, but like, let me go ahead and take that power and put it in my back pocket, and then we'll see what we do with it.
Sure.
And so I don't get it. And now, look, I'm sure I'll be accused by his supporters of, oh, you don't know the intricacies of Indian politics.
Right.
Yes, I do know what I read about him and his background, and it made me uncomfortable. And now when you see a comment like this, you go, well, that sounds like more of what I knew about the guy at this late stage in 2015. And think about how undiplomatic it is.
Yeah. I mean, he is saying this in public. Imagine what he says in private. That's what's truly worrying to me. And when you talked about his popularity, he was named in 2015 one of Time's 30 most influential people on the internet. He has a huge social media following on Twitter and Facebook. And if he is mouthing off like this, that makes me very uncomfortable that he might be saying things and he's hugely influential, and, that's going out to all of these followers he has who apparently, worship this guy. That is troubling to me in a lot of ways. And what's interesting is, he says this backhanded compliment to the Bangladeshi Prime Minister, who has apparently decades of experience. This is, I think, her third term as a Prime Minister. He's in his first. It's like, who are you to talk shit?
Right. And if you're wondering, well, Hindu versus Muslim, what does that mean? First of all, you have to understand that even though Muslims are a significant minority in India, there is a ton of them. Over 100 million Muslims live in India. India, I believe, is the third largest Muslim country, even though Muslims are a minority there.
Because it's just so huge.
That's right. And and so it's not like, oh, you know, I don't believe in Islam. Of course, I don't believe in Islam. I would have no problem with that. But there would be, from time to time, in the areas that he governed, there'd be riots against Muslims where they would be killed. And then he would say, well, what can you do? Things happen. And that's not what you want the leader of the area to say.
That is not inspiring. That's disturbing.
Right. And so I'm not buying Modi. I don't know why in the world he's popular. Look, I get that in India he's popular perhaps because of those reasons, not in spite of those reasons. I'm not unaware of how nationalistic politics works, right? I don't get why he's popular among Indian Americans who should know better.